Hi everyone. Hi. I hope you can all hear me. We are live, and thank you so much for joining me on this month's September website review. We have two websites that we're going to review from our Lady Boss friends in our Facebook group. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you learn a lot from looking at how other sites are reviewed. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment wherever it is that you're watching the video, whether it's on my YouTube channel or in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group and you would like to be, or you would also like to get your website reviewed, go to the Facebook group, join, because the website reviews are just for the Facebook group members. The Facebook group is called Kick-Ass Lady Bosses, and that's Lady Bosses is 2 words. And you'll see the banner currently has a photo of me, and it's pink, and it's amazing. So yeah, we've got a lot of members, and I would love to review other people's sites as well. And if you have any questions about website or branding or accessibility for websites, just put it in the comments and I will answer them as soon as I can. So we're supposed to start at 7 o'clock. So we have about 1 more minute. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Yasmin. I'm the boss lady over at roblessdesigns.com, where we create amazing websites and branding for kick-ass entrepreneurs. And specifically, I work with female entrepreneurs who are just starting out or who have been, they've created their own website. They've tried a do-it-yourself style of creating a website, but now they want to level it up a little bit. They want something a bit more professional because their business is expanding. So it's 7 o'clock, and I'm excited to get started. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to the replay viewers, and if you have any questions at all, you can leave them in the comments if you're watching the replay, or you can put them in the comments section on the video, and I will try to get to them as quickly as I can. If you see me looking at my phone, that's where I'm looking for the comments. Okay, so the first website we have is Ashley Binderim. So let me share my screen with you. Let's see. Give me 2 seconds. I am going to share my screen with you. Okay. So let me know if you can see my screen. Hopefully you can. Okay, so this is Ashley's website, and Ashley is a website and graphic designer. She's also she's a logo and brand designer, and she's also a virtual assistant. And I just have to really say, Ashley, I love your site. I was looking through it a bit right before we started. I love your use of white space. And I just love the way you use your colors. So to start off with, though, the one thing I love the use of white space. And if you are new to the design world and you're not really sure what I mean when I say white space, it's pretty much the little spacing in between things and in between sections so that it doesn't look too crowded. I can't stress this enough. Spacing is sometimes the biggest issue and sometimes the only issue that will really make or break a website. So I love the white space that you're using, and I really love the images that you use and the way that they're pretty cohesive with each other, as well as they're all foliage, cactuses and flowers and stuff. I love that. Oh, if anybody wants to see Ashley's site, it is Ashley, ASHLEEBINDERIM.com. So now the one thing that I did notice, again, my big thing is accessibility and making sure that websites in general are very accessible to people of all of all backgrounds. So whether it's a sight impaired person or a person using a screen reader, anything like that I'm very big on. So what I'm going to say is that the contrast between a few things on your site is very light. I get why you're doing it because it does look graphically beautiful, but you have to keep in mind that if you're squinting and I can barely see the logo, the Ashley Binderum, because it's such a slight shade or hue of that the green, that there's not enough contrast between that and the white background, so it's very hard for me to see. And so for a visually impaired person, it's just going to be even more daunting because they're going to land on your website and they're not going to know what they're looking at, right? So another thing that I wanted to mention was up here, now accepting clients for October. This is great. This is a great way to kind of start sneaking in the sales pitch. But at the same time, because it's white on this sort of teal, it's not as bad as the green, but it is definitely something to think about where the contrast is not as high. You're doing a great job on the menu, but when you get to home, the contrast is not as high as the rest of them. So kind of just think about that and keep that in the back of your mind when you're designing, the logos and stuff. You can always go a slightly shade darker than the actual color, as long as it's not a big variation, or you can do certain things to shift the colors so that it is still very much helping you achieve that goal of being beautiful, having a beautiful design, but still being accessible. See, another thing that I noticed too, when I hover over your images, so this is an image, there's no alt tag, and this is also another accessibility thing. But if you're using WordPress or Squarespace or anything like that, this is super, super easy. When you upload an image, let's say WordPress, there's typically a section that says, let's see, you upload the image and the image preview shows up on the right below it. There's like a description and stuff where it says, I believe it says alt tag and title tag. Make sure you write down what the image is about, because if it doesn't, when you hover over it, there's going to be no title tag. There's not going to be perhaps an alt tag, and those, they do help with SEO, but they really, really help with accessibility. Or if your image doesn't show up, those will show up and you'll still be able to get that idea across. Another reason why you should think about accessibility really well is because Google is going, in 2017, I heard that Google is going to start really focusing in on getting people and websites and companies to start looking at it with more scrutiny on how they're displaying their items and making everything accessible. So you see how this green looks great in large letters. Make sure that the smaller it gets, maybe this slightly shade darker, because to make it show up. Otherwise, I love it. This is easy to read. It's large. It's calls to action buttons. The font is so thin that, again, you risk, for a visually impaired person, just squint your eyes, you risk having them not being able to see what it says, and then they'll just, they'll just go to another website. Okay, I love this. I love this. Great testimonial. And I like how you cap it. I would add a bit more spacing here between this. And then I'm not sure if this is too much space above and below, but I like how you gave them a call to action after, like right at the end of the page, so they got all the way down, and you gave them, so you gave the user something to do. That is perfect. So click here to get your list of 15 free resources. It's not only a call to action, it's a free call to action. So they've invested all their time on your site, and now they're going to be able to click and probably get on your email list. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. All right, so again, love the images, about me. Love the image. This is great because people who are scanning, they'll look at the images and they'll get a really good idea of who you are. One thing you might want to do though is use headlines. Give a little bit more about yourself and then use headlines to break up the text so that when I'm scanning through, I can read, "Hi, I'm Ashley, great picture," and then maybe a headline to kind of a really quick headline, whether it's a quote or something about you that you really, maybe it says here, "Because your crazy dreams aren't so crazy," in really bold, whatever that may be. That way I get an idea by just scanning and skimming through the page. I get a really good idea of who you are and why I want to work with you. One thing again about the links, these are real, this teal color, it's very light and it's great that it's your brand color, but if it's going to be on this tiny text for this body text and it's going to be a link, I would make it slightly darker because you want it to show up and you want it to stand out. Right now it's blending into the background. Again, this goes back to accessibility issues as well as you want people to really see your call to action. So for example, if you're skimming here and you're quickly going by, you might not see the Pinterest or the virtual assistants or anything like that. You might even miss the subscribe because you're going so fast and I can't read. It's not easy to read the subscribe in that button. Again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to, feel free to write them in the comments. So this is not a link. I would actually make services a landing page, kind of a, you can call it a link farm or just really a page where you'll land and you'll get a really, really brief overview of every single service. I love the image. It really helps the text stand out. And I actually like that that's real text over an image. Again, with the calls to action, I really think that you should make them stand out more, and I think it's more of a color issue versus a size issue or anything like that. This, it being an image, it's great, but I'm hoping that the alt tags that you use, and we can actually look through it now. If you used any alt tags, they should show up here. It doesn't look like you did just from a quick glance. So the alt tag would be in the image tag or in the link tag, and I don't see any. So what you need to do is whenever you start uploading your images, or if you're coding this by hand, is to include those alt and title tags because they are very, very important for SEO. They're very important for screen readers. Google doesn't know what the text is that's on your image, and so when you have this beautiful website and it's a bunch of images that are beautiful, but Google doesn't know what you do because it can't read the images, and then a person who is slightly sight impaired or something, or who is using a screen reader for any reason, the screen reader will not know what that image is. Oh, well, you actually outline it here on the bottom, I believe. Yeah, so you outline it here. So what I would do here is on the alt tag, just say the process so that it's out. So when a screen reader comes in, it reads it as if it were a title to these. If that makes sense. I love your examples. I would add a testimonial here because it's all about you. You're saying you're awesome, the process, your work. You need a testimonial. You need a bit more oomph as to why I should work with you. Why is it that you get my style and that you're going to work really well with me? Okay, we have a few more minutes for your site. Let's check out your blog. So very beautiful pictures again. I like how there's an excerpt and an image. That's great. Okay, I love that your image is Pinterest friendly. A lot of people forget to make their images Pinterest friendly. And yeah, okay, so I would definitely treat this text similar to that of a just any other design layout. So for example, hustle your heart out will be in bold, maybe larger. Um, Maybe this section you might be thinking to yourself, I hate my job, I want out. Maybe that's really bold and that's, you know, a headline. Think of it as headlines, subheadlines, body copy, another headline, body copy, you know, just kind of alternate that so that people who are either on a time crunch or they just really do not want to read the entire article, they just want to get what they can out of it really quickly, they can easily look at your image lines and get a really good idea of what the article is about and then also whether or not they want to read it in full. All right, so now let's shift over to Carla Gregg's site. And her website is What Would Carla Say? Carla with a K. And this is her homepage, and she is a video blogger. So I have not seen your videos, Carla, but I will after this. Just the titles look really enticing. So let's see here. Okay, so I love the logo. If it ever gets any smaller, I would be careful. Doesn't look like it shrinks when it goes to mobile. Let me try one thing out with Ashley's site. All right, Ashley, you will need to. Okay, well, I like that your logo actually didn't continue to get smaller and it really just turned into a text logo, which is perfect for mobile. That way it's always readable. One odd thing that happened though, and just keep in mind that it sometimes does happen, is like these social media icons are on this level and then your menu's over here. And the site is trying to fit everything in, but there's this weird spacing going on. So keep in mind that everything you do needs to look great on mobile, but right now it really does. It's just that one spacing. All right, Carla. Let's see here. So I like that you kept the calls to action above the fold. So the fold is the edge of my screen, and I'm actually on a laptop. So you're thinking about your target audience in a really good way, where I don't know if you did it on purpose, but your target audience might be somebody who uses more of a laptop versus a big desktop. So their screen might be shorter, smaller, whatnot. So all of your calls to action are above the fold. And sliders I have a love-hate relationship with sliders. They don't convert very well. And you also have to make sure you don't have too many slides. I think you're right at the edge where if you would have added another slide, I would have told you to start cutting things out, because sliders, people don't pay attention to after like the second one. People don't really pay attention to it. And another thing about sliders is that sometimes they go too fast, sometimes they go too slow. You have to find a really good sweet spot. Sometimes there's so much information on a slider image that it's just useless to try to read it and then go back and finish reading it to see what it is that you're going to be clicking into. I think yours is doing a great job. Just keep in mind those things whether it's going too fast, too slow. You don't want to overwhelm your user or your site visitor. And you want to make sure that everything that you're putting on your slider is the number one thing that you want people to click on. I think you could do with a little bit more white space, perhaps here right below the slider, and then right below, maybe some right below here, just to give it a little bit of breathing room. I really like how you've laid out the title and then the image of the main featured image of that blog post. I'm gonna click on one and see what it's like. Acting like a kid, like kids at Disneyland. Okay, so I mean, this is a really nice spot where you could actually, this gray, you could get a darker shade of, or a lighter shade, you can choose, of this color here on your logo. Let's say you went with a lighter shade, then you can keep this black, and just a really light shade of that color will really help you kind of encompass the whole brand, kind of bring it all into play. Okay, so this is your video blog. Let's check out the About You page. One thing about the video, the blogs, for example, the one I was just at, this is going to help you with SEO as well as people who are, again, have accessibility issues. Your videos can be amazing, but you need to, well, first of all, this video looks like it was cut off in the bottom. I don't think you actually made it to be this height. So there's one. And then add a transcript to every single video. This is going to help you create SEO, like a really great SEO keywords and stuff, because you're already saying them in the video, or at least give a summary of what the video is about. Or if, for example, you're doing a documentary, then maybe a transcript. If you're interviewing somebody, if you're just having fun, describe what you were doing that day. It helps add SEO value. It helps with accessibility because some people might not have the time to watch the video. They might be on their phone and they don't want to open up another app when they click on the video. They just want to get the information and they just want to go, right? So just add a summary of what the video is about, and that'll help them kind of not be thankful, but read through the summary and remember that you were the one that has this video that they want to watch, but they can't watch it right now, if that makes any sense. So always try to add some kind of transcript or summary of a video. All right, back to, let's check out the About You page. About Me. So I love your image, love the hair. I like how you did this in bold. Okay, so you're breaking up the text with a few headlines. And then images, great job. Let's try Things I Love. So this is a great page. Why don't you try to make it a bit more visually appealing by maybe adding an image of every single, or creating a small collage of all of these things that you love, or something to add visual appeal, because right now it's things I love and it's a list and it's like, okay, that's great. Now what? But if you've taken images on Instagram of things you love, it doesn't have to be every single thing on this list, but it can be, for example, dancing and singing in the car. You could do one of you dancing if you have an image. Nature and all its beauty. If you take an image of nature, you can add it there, and they could just become a collage of things. And that would be amazing, so you could show as well as write it in there. The bucket list. Okay, so definitely the bucket list. Tell me why. So in your bucket list, you want to take a trip to Canada with your mom. Why? What's the point of that? Or at least link it to another article post on why you want to take a trip to Canada with your mom. So kind of give me the why. Again, it's just a list. Why would I be interested in your bucket list? I mean, really, why would anybody want to even read your bucket list? You have to think about it from the point of view of your target audience. Okay, they're on your bucket list, but what is it that you really want to achieve? You want to kind of inspire them to create their own bucket list. So tell them why you added these to your bucket list. Why are they there? Okay, so you've got your blog, your YouTube. This is great. I like how you laid this out. Okay, so everything looks great. What I would ask you is, how do you want to make your money? Because I don't see any call to action for getting onto your email list. And you look like somebody who, you talk about traveling, you talk about a bunch of different things. Why haven't you created an email list that will get people, people will get on your email list, get, notifications that you have now created a new video, plus maybe behind the scenes look or a little bit more insight on it. And then with that email list, you can then do something more and expand on it. Your work with me mentions, partner with me. So, which means that you're getting business owners or other people to work with you, and which is amazing. But wouldn't it be so much better if you could also say, hey, I have this email list with this many people, I can email them about your product. Or if you yourself come up with some kind of, let's say, bucket list. Let's take that off. Let's say you have a lot of your things done on your bucket list, and you want to teach people how they can also do the same and get things on their bucket list, create a bucket list and start crossing things off, then that could be like a little mini course and some passive income. And you can actually start collecting all of the amazing emails and people who really want to follow you. Emails are, email is just, if content is what they say, content is king, then emails have got to be the queen, because you can create all this amazing content and put it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and one of these days, one of those apps is just going to mess up and explode, and then you won't have those followers. How are you going to contact them? So you really, really need to start collecting those emails. The way I and a lot of other businesses do it is we offer some kind of freebie, whether it's with you, how you love to do videos. You could say, how to get started on your YouTube channel. I believe you had another video here, or tips and insight on videos, to creating videos. Whatever that may be, whatever your real passion is, create a really short freebie, have them sign up for their email, and then start sending them behind the scenes look of your recent video, plus the link to the video, all of that stuff. It's going to be really awesome for you, and you'll be able to just be that much more engaged with your audience. All right, your contact me page. I think this is oh, there's an image. Okay. So if this has an image, why doesn't, for example, about me have an image? Is there a reason why some of the pages have an image and some of them are just gray? Just not sure. And then the contact me image, it just looks like a stock image. So I don't know if you could actually make that into your own image, maybe with you off to the side, and then contact me pushed over a little bit so that they can kind of relate to the person that they'll be contacting. Overall, though, your site is really, really great. I love it. Very simple, clean. Your use of white space is pretty good. I would just add a little bit more spacing here. And I definitely think about starting to collect emails from people. That would really help you expand your blog. And then for Ashley, it's just a little bit about switching colors, especially when things get really small. Just switching the shade, maybe making it darker so that it stands out a little bit more, so that you know where the links are. If any text gets smaller than this logo here, and it's that green color, make sure that you think about switching to a different color so that to make sure that it stands out. And your calls to action button, it's very light. The white is just blending into the green. So think about either changing the green or changing the text to black, doing something so that it will be visible in your face and people will click it. Let me unshare my screen. So, okay, there we have it. A quick 30-minute chat about your website. So if you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, then let me know your questions. If you are in the Facebook group and you're watching the replay, then I'll be posting the link. So no worries. And if you are in the Facebook group and you want to get your website reviewed, I'll make sure to put the link to the type form that all you have to do is it's just a form, you fill it out, and it asks a few questions, and I get to review your website. And we do a couple websites every month. So if you don't get yours reviewed next month, I'll still, you're still in the running for the next time that we do this. And yeah, so invite your friends to the Facebook group. Again, if you're not in the Facebook group and you're watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure you join. It's called the Kick-Ass Lady Bosses. It is for ladies only. We are an amazing group of entrepreneurial women. We can go there to get help with branding and website design anytime from me, or just chat about growing a business and network with other wonderful, amazing lady bosses. So that is it for today. I hope that you had a great time. I hope you learned a lot. Again, just to recap overall, watch the colors that you're using on your website. Make sure you squint and you look at what you're putting up. And if it's blending together, if it's not standing out, but it's something important on the page, like a call to action button, then you need to see what can shift to make that better. Yeah, pretty much that is the most important thing from today. Make sure you use a white space properly, anything else like that, and you can always watch the replay to get the other tips, but make sure that those colors, you got a handle on them, all right? So that is all. Thank you so much for joining me, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.